My ex-wife said, "You're 35 and still bartending." I'm marrying someone who actually owns property instead of just serving drinks. The divorce papers came with a note attached. Daniel, I can't waste any more years on someone with no real assets. Trevor owns 3 rental properties and has his life together. You're 35 and still bartending. I need security, not someone who serves drinks for a living. Lisa always resented my bartending career, making comments about how embarrassing it was to tell people I worked nights at Murphy's Pub. What Lisa didn't know was that I'd been using my bartending income strategically for 7 years. Working nights meant I had entire days free to view properties, meet with contractors, and manage investments. My first property was a duplex I bought for $180,000 in 2019. Lived in one side, rented out the other to cover most of the mortgage. Within a year, I saved enough to buy a second rental property, then a third. The bartending job provided steady income while my properties appreciated and generated rental cash flow. By the time Lisa filed for divorce, I owned 8 rental properties across 3 neighborhoods. My monthly rental income was $14,000, and the portfolio was worth about $1.8 million. But I kept living in the same duplex, driving my old Honda, working at the pub 5 nights a week. Lisa saw the modest lifestyle and assumed I had no assets worth fighting over in the divorce. She didn't even request financial discovery. Her lawyer focused on splitting our minimal joint checking account and household items. 2 months after our divorce was finalized, Lisa married Trevor in a small ceremony. She posted photos of their new life together, constantly mentioning how good it felt to be with someone who owned real estate and understood investments. Last week, I got a call from my property management company. "Daniel, we have a situation with the Oakwood Avenue property. The tenant wants to break their lease early, but they're claiming the landlord is harassing them about rent." I knew that address. It was Trevor's rental property. He'd been bragging on social media about being a real estate investor, but apparently he was struggling with basic landlord responsibilities. "What's the tenant's complaint?" I asked. "They say Trevor keeps showing up unannounced, demanding rent early, and threatening eviction over minor issues. They want to move out immediately." That afternoon, I drove by Trevor's property. It was a small single-family home in decent condition, but I could see why tenants would be frustrated. The yard was neglected, and there were notices taped to the front door. Out of curiosity, I looked up Trevor's other properties in the public records. 2 rental homes, both heavily mortgaged, both in neighborhoods that weren't appreciating much. His total equity was probably around $90,000 across 3 properties. Meanwhile, my 8 properties had gained $340,000 in value just this year. My rental income alone was more than Trevor's entire real estate equity. The next day, Lisa called me. Her voice was stressed and angry. "Daniel, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Do you own rental properties?" My stomach dropped. "Why are you asking?" "Because Trevor's been having problems with his tenants, and he hired a property management company to help. They mentioned that someone named Daniel Martinez owns half the rental properties in the Riverside district." I was quiet for a moment. "Lisa, we're divorced. My financial situation isn't really your business anymore." Her voice got sharper. "How many properties do you own?" 8 rental properties, plus the duplex I live in." The silence lasted about 10 seconds. 8 properties? How is that possible on a bartender's salary? I've been buying and renovating properties for 7 years. The bartending job gave me flexible hours to manage the real estate business. Lisa's voice was barely a whisper. "How much are they worth?" "About $1.8 million in total value. Monthly rental income is around $14,000. I heard her breathing heavily on the other end. "Daniel, that's more than Trevor's entire portfolio." "Different investment strategies," I said. "Trevor buys properties he can barely afford. I buy properties that cash flow positively from day one. Why didn't you tell me about this during our marriage?" I tried to explain my investment plans multiple times. "You always said real estate was too risky and preferred that I focus on getting a day job." Lisa was crying now. "I made a terrible mistake. I left someone who was actually building wealth for someone who just talks about building wealth. You left someone whose success didn't look the way you expected it to," I corrected. That weekend, I saw Trevor at the hardware store. He looked stressed, buying supplies for what looked like emergency repairs. "Hey Daniel," he said awkwardly. "Heard through Lisa that you're in real estate too." 8 properties, I said simply. Trevor's face went pale. 8? How do you manage the cash flow on that many mortgages?" "I don't have mortgages. I buy properties with cash and renovate them for maximum rental yield." "Cash? Where did you get that kind of money?" I smiled and picked up my contractor supplies. 7 years of bartending and smart reinvestment. Turns out serving drinks pays better than most people realize.